There are some stories that stick with you, stories that crawl under your skin and never let go. You can dismiss ghosts, monsters, or urban legends as fiction. But then there are nights when the line between nightmare and reality dissolves completely. This story isn't about a shadow in the corner or a face in the mirror. It's about something far worse. A figure who doesn't need eyes to see you, doesn't need light to hunt you. They call him Eyeless Jack. And on one cold autumn night, a boy named David learned the name was not just an online myth. It was a predator's calling card. David was a 19-year-old college student. It was the middle of October, and he'd just moved into his older brother's small cabin in the woods outside of town. The cabin was supposed to be temporary, just a quiet place while he figured out his next move in life. The first week was uneventful. Spent most days scrolling online, cooking simple meals, and taking long walks through the forest. At night, he swore he could hear breathing outside his window. Not footsteps, not animals, but breathing. Slow, steady, human. Every time he looked, there was nothing there, just the black trees and the whisper of the wind through the leaves. One morning, he found something strange. On the window ledge outside his bedroom, there were dark stains. At first, he thought it was dirt, but when he touched it, the smear on his finger was unmistakably blood. That night, David would realize the blood wasn't a warning, it was bait. Around midnight, David woke to the sound of scratching. It was faint, deliberate, and it was coming from inside the house. He reached for his phone and turned on the flashlight. The pale beam caught movement in the corner of the room. At first, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. But then he saw a figure crouched near his bed, hunched over, its head tilted unnaturally to one side. The mask was the first thing he noticed. It looked like a smooth, pale blue face, with two dark pits where eyes should have been. And yet David could feel it watching him. Frozen, he whispered, "Who's there?" The figure didn't answer. Instead, it rose to its full height, taller than any man he had ever seen, and stepped closer. That's when David realized its hands were soaked in something dark. Blood. He bolted from the bed, shoving past the figure and sprinting down the hallway. His heart hammered as he slammed the bathroom door shut, locking it behind him. From the other side, the scratching continued, slow and deliberate against the wood. David called his brother, his voice shaking. The line barely rang before cutting out. No signal. Minutes stretched into hours. The scratching stopped. Silence was worse. At around 3 in the morning, he finally dared to look through the small bathroom window. The woods were still empty. He almost convinced himself he'd imagined it all. Until he saw it again just for a split second. The mask staring up at him from the trees below. David didn't sleep. He waited until daylight, then packed what he could into a bag and decided to leave. But the woods were different now, too quiet. Halfway down the dirt path, he found something left in the middle of the trail. A kidney. Fresh, raw, blood still dripping into the soil. He gagged and stumbled back, realizing what the stains on his window had been, what the figure had been holding. Eyeless Jack didn't just watch his victims, he harvested them. The walk to town should have taken an hour, but David never made it. The trees seemed endless, the path twisted, and every time he looked over his shoulder, he swore the mask was there closer each time. At one point, exhausted, he sat against a tree to catch his breath. He told himself he'd only close his eyes for a second. But when he opened them, there was a sound, a wet sound, breathing inches from his ear. He turned. Nothing. But his bag was gone, and on the ground beside him was another organ. His stomach lurched as he realized it was his. Somehow impossibly, it was his own. When David's brother returned to the cabin 2 days later, the place was empty. No sign of struggle, no forced entry. The only thing he found was David's phone on the bathroom floor. The last video on it was only 12 seconds long. In the grainy footage, David is whispering into the camera, his face pale, eyes wide with terror. He says he's inside. He doesn't have eyes, but he sees everything. "If I don't make it out, don't come looking for me. Please don't." Then the screen tilts. For a split second, you can see a figure moving in the dark behind him. The mask. The recording ends with a low, wet sound, like flesh being torn. To this day, David's body has never been found. Some say he ran away, others that it was just an elaborate story. But those who live near the woods whisper a different warning. If you wake up in the night and hear scratching, if you find blood on your window ledge, don't ignore it. Because Eyeless Jack doesn't stop hunting once he's chosen you. And if you ever see that mask staring at you from the trees, pray he hasn't already decided what part of you he'll take first.